गुणातीतोऽक्षरं ब्रह्म भगवान् पुरुषोत्तमः जनो जानन्दिदं सत्यं मुच्यते भवबन्धनात्। श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवान की जय। अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराज की जय। राधा कृष्ण देव की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज की जय। महंत स्वामी महाराज की जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सव की जय। With prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagavan Swaminarayan and my Guru Hari, Parapuja Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Parapuja Mahant Swami Maharaj, my heartiest namaskar, good evening and Jai Swaminarayan. Well, the topic for the talk today, management with spirituality, the most perhaps sought after topic today in the corporate world. Management with spirituality, or as you say, spiritual management. I think all of you will agree with the point that I put forward, is that more research the society has seen in the last 20 years than it saw in the 200 years before that. And principally we have seen more research, of all 80% of the research in fields like science and technology, health, management, social relationships. These four fields, they are 80% of all the research that has happened in the last 20 years. And if you deeply look at it, analyze it, we would definitely find that more and more of this research, it tends towards spirituality. If you read the books of top management gurus today, what they preach and teach to corporate honkos, to executives, more and more of this management gurus, they teach about spirituality to top class executives. You talk of Jim Collins or Mandino, Ken Blanchard, Robert Kaplan, Anthony Robbins, Robin Smith, Stephen Covey. All these top management gurus, they teach some spirituality to top class executives. Because people sitting in front of them during their seminars, they are not to be taught administration or management or HR or networking, finance. They already know it. They have been doing it since years. What they have to be taught is more of humanity, more of morality, more of spirituality. See, the word management started from the early 1950s. At that time, people believed that more of brains, better of management. That is, people with a better IQ, better intelligence, would definitely make good managers. That was the concept, and that ran through 3 or 4 decades. That a person with a good intelligence, a better know-how, that he thinks rationally, he expresses himself convincingly, he acts purposefully, he deals with the situation effectively with his own intelligence. People thought, people behaved, people accepted for few decades that better the intelligence, better the management. But this concept changed in the early 80s. That beyond your intelligence, there lies your emotional intelligence. How you deal with your emotions and the emotions of the people around you, whom you are working. How better you understand people, how better you understand your team, how able you are to manage people around you. So a bit of a shift came from the head to the heart when it came to management. So emotional intelligence started playing a pivotal role in better management. It also lasted for about like 20 years. At the start of the new millennium, some good thinkers that pointed out some variations in it. They came up with something that baffled the world. That beyond your intelligence, that is your know-how or your technical expertise, came emotional intelligence. But now, beyond your emotional intelligence, they say, what works the most and well accepted by top management gurus and corporate people today is your spiritual intelligence. Spiritual intelligence is that by your word, by your deed, by your actions, by even your smallest expression, you come out to create a situation while working with people, administrating, that you set an ideal example because you go beyond certain preconditions of human mind. You go beyond certain pre-habits designed as a natural human behavior. Certain habits are basically pre-set in our minds, in our basic body languages. You transcend that and create a situation which is a source of inspiration for everybody around. You create a situation which can be a source of inspiration for generations to come. So basically, spiritual intelligence is you go beyond certain preconditions of human minds and habits. So wonderfully, it has been prescribed, the spiritual intelligence, by authors Dr. Ian Marshall, his co-author, the lady Gnanvatsal. Both of them, they co-authored this book, Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence. This is the title of the book. Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence. Where they say that even after the best of technical expertise that you have, even after the best net of understanding people and emotions that you have, you need to have these qualities which showcase spiritual intelligence of a person. It's vice versa. They have listed down good 8 qualities. If you possess that, you are spiritually intelligent. And vice versa, if you are spiritually intelligent, you will definitely possess these qualities. I'll just list down, I'll not go deep into the details of it. The 8 qualities which these 2 authors have researched deep after meeting more than 500 successful people in more than, on all the 5 continents, in more than like about 50-60 countries. These 8 qualities they listed as, first is flexibility to change, is a spiritual quality. Second is extremely self-aware. Third is an ability to face and use suffering in life. Any suffering, you should be able to face it and use it for your advantage. That is a spiritual intelligence. Fourth is an ability to be inspired by vision. Fifth is an ability to see connection between diverse things. Sixth, an ability to cause as little harm as possible to people, to surroundings, to environment. Seventh, an ability to ask and probe fundamental questions. And last, and the 8th one, an ability to work against the convention. मान्यता के विरुद्ध जाके भी काम करना. First you convince yourself. These are the 8 qualities of a spiritually intelligent person. The first quality is very important, flexibility to change. Harvard University recently produced the latest definition for intelligence, and that is the flexibility to change and the flexibility to accept change in life is intelligence. The sooner that you can adjust to a change in life, the more intelligent you are. The sooner that you can accept change in your life, the more intelligent you are. So this is flexibility. Also, these 8 qualities are now taught to executives so that they become good at work, they become better at handling people, and ultimately it can produce a better result overall. So more and more of this. See, basically there are 3 types of management. And all, first is material management, which is the easiest. Class 3, class 4 job, material management. Above that is money management, a bit more difficult. Third is the most difficult, man management. Any work that you do, you are managing either of this. Now introspect. Any work you do, you are managing either of this. Either you are managing material or money or man. The toughest of all 3 is man management. And they say, take care of your man, and your man will take care of your material and money. Take good care of your man, that is of your people, of your staff, and they will take care of your money and material. So basically these 3 types of management. This is part 1. Part 2, now what is spirituality? Basically spirituality are 4 aspects: dharma, gyan, vairagya or bhakti. Dharma is righteousness, integrity, ethics, norms, disciplines is dharma. Gyan is knowledge. It is in 2 parts, apara and paravidya. Apara means all the knowledge that is applicable in the worldly sense upon this earth. To make money, to earn money. And paravidya is, you have the right knowledge of body, mind and soul, spirituality. Third aspect of spirituality is vairagya, detachment. What commonly now the executives are told, detached attachment, is the new word in the management field. Detached attachment. From morning 9 to evening 6, you attach yourself fully. Evening 6 o'clock, detach yourself fully. In short, don't carry your office in your head after 6 p.m. back home. And the vice versa is also true. Eh? Don't carry your home in your heart at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is called detached attachment. That is vairagya. And the 4th is bhakti, profound devotion and profound faith in the doership of God. Now this is being very proactively taught. They are trying to infuse in the daily system of management of executives this management rules. So now we saw 3 types of this management: material, money, man management. And these are the 4 aspects of spirituality. How they blend. How spiritual management works better. Why do you need spirituality in management? And if spirituality really creeps in well into your management, how better a manager can you be? Is the talk today. How better manager can you be if spirituality infuses well and you decide to infuse it well in management? And this is a fact. Bhagwan Swami has written in his Sikshapatri, which is the essence of all the scriptures. He has defined dharma. Dharma gneya sadachara. What is dharma? Good conduct, good character is dharma. Very simple definition. as the essence of all definitions. Again I repeat, dharma, gneya, sadachara. Good conduct, good behavior, good character is dharma. Now this dharma, this aspect of dharma, this well-described dharma in this verse, how well, if incorporated in your daily management, it helps you. The moment you forget dharma, which is good conduct, good behavior, good character, which is integrity, which is ethics, which is disciplines and which is norms, you ruin yourself, you ruin the company, you ruin the people around you, and you ruin your family. See what happened with Enron? A giant power company. They had come to Maharashtra as well, and thereafter their down the ladder journey started. They went into, all of the executives, they went into corruptions and bribes and everything. And once slated among the top 25 listed companies on the New York Stock Exchange, that is Wall Street. Today Enron is nowhere. And quite a few of their top class executives are languishing in jails since last many years. To the extent that you might have, I don't know if you remember or not, but I do remember a couple of pictures in the Times of India that when after the ruin, when they absolutely went bankrupt, a few Enron executives were carrying chairs and tables of their offices on their shoulders and going out and pushing them in the cars to sell it so that they get a few money as part of their salary. So the giant MNC, and this happened. A management guru, Robert Kaplan, he has written a book on this, The Rise and Fall of Enron, where he puts this aspect of dharma which Bhagavan Swaminarayan has put. This aspect of dharma, that is righteousness, integrity, discipline, norms, ethics. Robert Kaplan writes in this book, The Rise and Fall of Enron. He deeply analyzed the whole case, and then he puts that only 32% of tangible assets, they actually work for the growth of the company. Tangible assets that you can see with your own eyes, that are called tangible assets. Only 30. Rest, 68% of the growth of the company depends upon intangible assets that are not seen by the physical eyes. That is truth, disciplines, norms, ethics, integrity. That is dharma. That is all dharma. So 68% of the growth of the company, I'm talking of the corporate world, depends upon intangible assets which you don't see by your physical eyes, which is dharma. And dharma means all these aspects that are listed out. It is a reality. It is a fact. We know that there are 4 Vedas. We are talking of spiritual management. The 4 Vedas, the Rig Veda. Second, Atharva Veda. Yajur Veda and Sam Veda are the 4 Vedas considered to be the oldest scriptures upon this earth. They are not man-made, they are God-made. Atharva Veda, किस तरह से उपार्जन करना, how to make money, how to grow your business. Atharva Veda details to the minutest. If you pick up any management guru upon this earth, any corporate guru upon this earth, and whatever he speaks, whatever he talks, whatever he writes, and whatever he teaches and preaches, is nothing outside Atharva Veda. I give you one example. Atharva Veda, first let me ask you, which is the biggest quality that a professional needs to have in his life to have a stable, successful career? Transparency, discipline, honesty. All these words can be put in one word. Can I get that word? Somebody say. Integrity. Integrity is the word. All these words put into one is integrity. And what definition you realize about integrity. Integrity in your words is?
Same thing, honesty.
Honesty, disciplines, norms, ethics, all combined. Commitments, everything combined. In short, in integrity they say, as Jim Collins quotes, the highest paid management guru upon this earth at present. He speaks fantastically on management. 40 years of experience of training corporate world. Charges only $60,000 US for 1 hour of talking. So Saileshman, next time if you want to call him. So 1,000 USD for 1 minute of talking. He is the most sought after. No appointments till 8 months from the day you put the first mail. Jim Collins defines integrity. Very simple sentence, most simple words. He writes, integrity means what you are inside, you should be outside, and what you are outside, you should be inside. This is integrity. What you are inside, you should be outside. What you are outside, you should be inside. All credits to Jim Collins, but this is a very clear translation. Not word to word, but letter to letter translation of the Atharva Ved, where they preach us. Yad antaram tad bahyam, yad bahyam tad antaram. So all roots of management are in spirituality. You accept it, less or more is your choice. But every aspect of management lies in spirituality. Atharva Ved teaches this. Yad antaram tad bahyam, yad bahyam tad antaram. That is, what you are inside, you should be outside. What you are outside, you should be inside. This is integrity. Again I say, all credits to Jim Collins for his all research and all thinking. But it is a mere translation of what is taught to us. It would be early for me to put this statement at this stage of my talk, but let me, because of some intuition or some force from within, let me tell you that never ever, even in your wildest dreams, say that some part of our ancient scriptures is not relevant today. Absolutely relevant. I have such 1,000 stories, as I said, one today. So integrity is the biggest quality that you need in a working person. That is well taught in the Atharva Ved. Atharva Ved is absolutely on making money, growing business. Well prescribed, well said, and well explained. I just said one sloka of it. You would be surprised to know that there are more than 500 of such that if regularly preached or read, it cuts you out into a wonderful profession. This is the authority. This is spirituality and management. Or you say spiritual management. Everything well taught. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who was the spiritual head of this organization, also the administrative head. For 45 years he was the president of BAPS. And for 65 years he was the president, and for 45 years he was the guru. BAPS, the organization that I come from, is one of the largest NGOs in the world with a permanent seat in the United Nations. But the only organization in the world where it had its president, the same person, for 65 years. No controversy, no challenges, no elections. We loved him so much, we wanted him for another few more years. He passed away just about 3 years back. He lived with this integrity, and that is why he was successful in creating this organization to this level. He single-handedly built 1,300 temples all over the world. Been to Akshardham, everybody, we know. Such 4 Akshardhams are in the making. Delhi mein Akshardham 110 acre ka. Since its inception, we have an average of 17,000 people visiting every day. Thousands changing their lives for the better. Bigger than that, on 265 acres of land in Robbinsville, we'll inaugurate it in August 2022. When we'll inaugurate it, what is Mecca to Muslims and what is Christians to, what is Vatican to Christians will be Akshardham for Hindus. Second is in Johannesburg, South Africa. Third is in Sydney, Australia. And the fourth, the most famous, since last 2 months in the media that you might have read or seen, the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, His Excellency Sheikh Zayed, he donated 23 acres of land on the main Abu Dhabi-Dubai highway to BAPS, to build Akshardham there. A panel was set up by him that for a Hindu temple, which organization we would donate to. And the panel, after all the research, they decided that BAPS is the right organization. And when it will come up in 2.5 to 3 years from now, it will be a place where the two big communities could come together. It will be a place where two big worlds can come together. It will be a source, an epitome of peace, world peace. It is a project, but how administratively well we are supporting it through spirituality that I tell you. Another good aspect of spirituality is harmony. See, the land is donated by Sheikh Zayed, he is a Muslim. Donated to BAPS, a Hindu organization. The turnkey project that we have given to a company as per the norms of that country, Abu Dhabi. We have to give a turnkey project and we have chosen a Singapore-based company. The owners are communist Chinese. And the project manager that they have deputed for our project is a Catholic Christian. This is harmony in the making. This is spiritual. Where from different backgrounds still, they can come together, work wonderfully together, create a master class for the benefit of society and world at large. Why could this happen? Why did I describe this? Because Prabhu Swami Maharaj lived this life. Yad antaram tad bahyam. Yad bahyam tad antaram. What he was within, he was outside. What he was outside, he was within. He used to say, he lived his motto, in the good of others lies our own, in the progress of others rests our own. What he spoke was from the bottom of his heart, and he talked and walked that. Once Prabhu Swami Maharaj was asked, which thought remains with you 24/7 in your mind? He said, before answering that, shall I tell you the thought that has never entered my mind? And that was more interesting. And if that question is asked to you and me, which thought has never entered your mind ever? Difficult to catch. I give you 24 hours, tomorrow evening you can call me and tell me this thought has never entered my mind. Very difficult to catch that this thought has never entered my mind. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, we felt more interesting that he said the thought of hurting anybody, physically, mentally or emotionally, has never entered my mind. And we could see this in his 95 years of life. And that is why, what is the proof to it? Physical, clearly visible proof that he was that pure from within. What he said, what is the physical, clear, visible proof of it? Is that if you are so much pure from within, you naturally attract all kinds of resources towards you without effort. That is the only one and only proof to it. Purity from within, you don't have to advertise and canvas yourself. Like crystals of sugar don't have to advertise and canvas that all ants please come to me, I am here. A crystal of sugar, does it have any good shape? Attractive shape? No. Does it have a good color? It's plain white. Does it have a good odor? It's not that it spreads out. But there is no ant at present at this spot, and you put a crystal of sugar and within half an hour you will find tens of them. All credits to their their wonderful messaging system that goes beyond WhatsApp. The way they ants communicate with each other, just touch each other and how the data is transferred and the other perfectly moves towards the crystal. Superb system of communication. I think it could be, when analyzed in future, I don't know, by science, could be 10 times better than WhatsApp or Instagram. But what I was talking about was that as a crystal of sugar does not have to advertise itself, because, now listen this sentence very carefully, because it has sweetness in it and nothing except sweetness. The second is important. It has sweetness in it and nothing except sweetness. Then it attracts ants from all directions. In the same way, any working person, if he has purity and nothing except purity within, he attracts all kinds of resources, manpower, money power, everything. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was just 5 standard pass from a very ordinary village. He could not speak a single sentence in English. And yet, he initiated more than 1100 saints like us. He built more than 1300 institutions. He built more than 100 hospitals, hostels, schools and colleges. And administered it well. And these 4 Akshardhams that I'm talking of are his brainchild. And see the confidence he radiated. In 1997, when Pramukh Swami Maharaj visited Dubai, Abu Dhabi, at that time, Pramukh Swami Maharaj put his foot on the desert. Atul is first-hand proof to this incident. In 1997, Pramukh Swami Maharaj put his foot on the desert sand and confidently said, here in future a BAPS huge temple will come up. And it happened after 22 years. Divine providence. Absolute divine providence. So when you are pure from within, yadantaram tadbhaya, as you are within, you should be outside. As you are outside, you should be within. Bhagwan Swaminarayan says that which is the biggest disgrace that could fall upon anybody. And the biggest disgrace is that if people closest to you cannot judge you after 10 years of being close or being in your company, that I don't know what would he react in this particular way, or on this occasion, or on this issue. That is the biggest disgrace on you. If your closest person cannot judge you, that means if you are so much difficult to be judged, that is the biggest disgrace on you. Don't take it as a smartness. Don't take it as an extraordinary intelligence showered upon you, especially from heaven. It's a disgrace that your closest person in life cannot judge you well. As you are within, you should be outside. At least you should be living this principle to the 25 closest people in your life. With the rest of the people, if you start playing tricks or you play games, maybe if you can, legalize it in your heart and you can say that, okay, it's because the society works such. But at least to 25, 50 people that are close to you in your life, who have put faith in you, you should have this principle. So this is called spiritual management in life. It is well prescribed in the Atharva Veda. Again I would repeat, nothing that is being taught today by the top management gurus is outside the Atharva Veda. Basically meant for it. Another good aspect of spirituality. In the Mahabharata, Bhagwan Krishna, he tells Duryodhana, Sheelam ek param sukham. The only way to absolute happiness is a pure, crystal pure character. Bhagwan Krishna explains to Duryodhana that even after all the riches that you have, even after all the political power that you have, even after all the subjects of yours, day and night in obedience of yours, still, if you will not develop a character that Yudhishthira has, you will not be loved by people, you will not be trusted by people. You will have money, you will have political power, you will have people in your obedience, ready to obey your commands at midnight. But the love of people, the trust of people will be far away from you. Now imagine this situation if you have money and political power and you are an influencing person in your circles, and yet you command least of trust and love from people. People would not like to be with you, be in your company, not like to work with you. It's a misery of life. That money and that power will not give you happiness if you don't have love and trust of people. You got my point? To have love and trust of people, you need spirituality. Maybe perhaps for money or absolute political power, you may have or you may need only management. But for love and trust of people, the combination of both gives you absolute happiness in life. You need spirituality. This is what Bhagwan Sri Krishna teaches to Duryodhana in the Mahabharata. Sheelam ek param sukham, not just sukh. Param, absolute happiness, is when you earn love and trust of people. Beyond money, beyond power. Well prescribed. And this is also a fact. That if you lose your character, you will lose everything in life. From money to power and everything. A big cabinet minister of the previous NDA government had to put in his papers. He had to resign. Why? The Me Too movement. Simple. One slip, 20 years back, 30 years back, 40 years back, can haunt you today. Can come haunting you today. It's a reality. When Ronald Reagan, he filed his nominations for the presidency of the United States. That was the year 1981. He was from the Republican Party. And against him, the candidate definitely chosen by the Democratic Party was one Mr. Gary Hart. Pre-poll opinions gave landslide victory to Gary Hart. Even after Ronald Reagan being a Hollywood hero. Days before the actual voting, a story propped up in the New York Times and the LA Times that this man who is being nominated by the Democratic Party, Mr. Gary Hart, for the presidency, in his college days, during some picnic, he had smoked cocaine and he was in an illicit relationship with a model called Donna Rice. Somehow, from somewhere, this picture came out where he was having cocaine with this woman. And the people of America outright rejected him. The number of years between him during his college days and today when he was running for the presidency was more than 35 years. People rejected him. He had to withdraw his nomination. From that day in 1981 till today, nobody knows where Gary Hart is. Sheelam ek param sukham. If you miss out on character, you can be a very big loser. Sheelam ek param sukham. If you have this spirituality, character type spirituality, the character meaning of spirituality, only then all the other worldly happinesses of money, of power, of influence, of socializing, everything will remain with you. The moment you lose character, all this will evaporate. And that too, not in years, not in months, not in weeks, not in days, within hours. The scandal breaks The staggering, when it breaks out. Simple. The moment it will break out, within seconds you will become zero from hero. Sheelam ek param sukha. Hundreds of such stories. Hundreds of such stories. If you lose out on character even on the money front, you can be ejected out of the Emirates plane on Mumbai airport. You can be ejected out by calling the Emirates flight back from the tarmac, or actually on the runway, back and the parking, and you are asked to, with your wife, to come down. And then the Delhi High Court tells you that you give a bank guarantee of 18,000 crores, only then you can leave the country. Simple. Sheelam ek param sukha. This is spirituality in management. If you lose out on this front, character in relationships and character in administration, in money management. Two types of characters. In relationships and administration, at both the places. A small skirmish, a small slip, you have to pay heavily for it. Very heavily. And the gentleman is paying. His plea has been rejected a couple of days back by the Delhi High Court. That sorry, you stay in India. We don't want to create some other Choksies and Modis. So character, which is a synonym of spirituality, Sheelam ek param sukha. It is a fact, it is a reality. And you transcend that and you invite all kinds of problems in life. So in the Ramayana, Tulsidas writes, Pardhan patthar maniye, par stri maat saman, itne se hari na mile, to Tulsidas jaman. Tulsidas ji writes, कि परधन को क्या मानना है? जो धन आपका नहीं, पराया है, उसको क्या मानना है? पत्थर. पर स्त्री मान समान. Then what does Tulsidas guarantee us? इतने से अगर भरी न मिले, चलो भगवान की बात तो छोड़ो, ये लोक में भी प्रतिष्ठा और सुख भगवान जैसा एक थोड़ी कुछ बात है. इतने से हरी न मिले, तो Tulsidas says, I am your bank guarantee. तुलसीदास जमान, I am your guarantee. मिलेंगे आपको हरी. If this, which is told to us in the Ramayana by Tulsidas centuries back, if we had prescribed this to modern day bankrupt or scamsters, bank scamsters, no, Tulsidas not relevant today. Ramayana not relevant. तो देख बच्चा अब क्या होगा. As electricity is relevant to every person every day. Even if you are the chairman of the Gujarat Electricity Board, you don't have the right to put your finger inside the plug. You can't put your collars up in front of the plug and say, I am the chairman of the Maharashtra Electricity Board and this is my finger, okay, take care of it, and I am putting it inside the plug. And you put your finger inside the plug. Chipka degi, mar jao. Electricity doesn't know your post, position and power. In the same way, transcendence in your character. If you go beyond LOC, you are definitely inviting a bullet from the other side. Don't transgress LOC in your relationships. LOC, transgression in relationships, is extramarital relationships. If you transcend that LOC, if not today, after 2 years. If not after 2 years, after 5 years. If not after 5 years, after 10 years. You will invite a bullet on your chest. कभी नहीं बच पाओगे. Same way, there is a law, corporate law. At least in America, I know. I don't know of India, but in America there is a corporate law that if anybody starts a relationship with an office employee or a working colleague, they have to report it on day 1 to the top manager. That we have started a relationship. If you start a relationship with your office colleague, fine if both are agreeing, but then you have to report to the top manager. If the top management finds finds it out on their own through your whatever messages, phone calls, mails, whatever, you lose everything. You might have heard the name of Fanish Murthy. The person who could turn around any sick software company into millions of dollars profit-making company within a couple of years. He had that neck. So he used to jump companies every 5 years because he would be hired by a sick software company anywhere in California, in the Silicon Valley. He would turn it around within 2-3 years and then he would leave it to the management. That my charm is this, my hobby is this. He was appointed by iGate, a giant MNC, as a CEO. And he almost turned around iGate from a very sick unit, sick existence, to a giant multi-million-dollar profit-making company within 2.5 years. For that, perhaps, would be difficult for you to believe that he got $45 million as perks, as commissions. $45 million in 2.5 years. And then suddenly, the top management came to know that he is in a relationship with an office employee, with a colleague. And he knew what the law was. He begged for pardon, but he was well kicked off outside, thrown out of his company. I'm talking according to the newspaper reports, that such a talented, intelligent person could not find any job in the US. He had to come back to India and start a small startup. Shilarik Param Sukham. And second is this. Character is very important. So if you want to keep all the happiness, whatever happiness that you have in your life, some money, some power, some influence, remain wedded to character. This is spirituality in management. You remove this aspect of spirituality, that is the character aspect of spirituality, from management, and you invite all sorts of problems in your life. In the Udyog Parva of Mahabharata, again Bhagwan Krishna tells this. He very clearly states that with character you will be full, and without character you will be totally empty. Again, Udyog Parva, it defines very good principles about Udyog, that is all kinds of businesses. Again, it carries real, valuable, not just information, but wisdom. Again, I would tell the statement, all the modern day management gurus, all credits to them for all their research, but nothing is outside the Udyog Parva of Mahabharata. So this is spirituality in management. The Rig Veda, considered to be the oldest, as I said, scripture upon this earth. It also prescribes one important aspect of spirituality in management. And it says that beyond pay to your employees, beyond some commissions or beyond some perks, the owners of the company should indulge themselves in some better welfare of their employees. See, pay is different, welfare is different. Pay is different, welfare is different. If you say, I'm paying my employee, I'm giving him a handsome salary, plus perks, plus vacations, whatever you give. But that is not welfare, as the Rig Veda says. The Rig Veda says that welfare means beyond pay, beyond commissions, beyond perks, that you take care of him and his family for their all types of growth in the society. That is welfare. For welfare, you have to cut your purse a bit, personal purse a bit, your personal profit a bit, and use it for the welfare. And companies, they have started experiencing this, that this gives a better leverage to them, not just in business, but in the relationship with their employees. And people have started doing this. You'll be surprised to know to what extent they do welfare of their employees. How many of you have heard the name of Sauji Bhai Dolakia in Surat? A youth diamond there, Hare Krishna Exports. Last year, he gifted 400 cars to his 400 employees. Last year, he gifted 800 2 BHK and 3 BHK apartments to his employees. 800 apartments. See, this is welfare to this extent. And just a few months back, he had invited me for a talk, a huge gathering of 1,500 people. At that time, to his most trusted 3 people around him, which are his limbs, left, right. I saw it with my own eyes. He gifted them 3 S-Class Mercedes. That since 10 years they are with me. And then he announced that I have decided to other about 24 close people to him, that on the day you finish 10 years with me, I will gift you a Mercedes car. What a welfare thought of. This is beyond all pace. What is 400 cars given to employees gifted on one occasion? What is 800 apartments? And Surat is no small town. It's not a village that you get it cheap or. It's also a booming city. It is actually in Gujarat we call it mini Mumbai. It's like mini Mumbai. And there you do this. This is welfare beyond imagination. What did Ratan Tata did after the Taj attack? What a welfare. Any other person other than Ratan Tata would tell you that he would just say 2 lakhs announced to the kith and kin of those deceased. And that people would appreciate. Ratan Tata, he went beyond any human imagination of welfare as prescribed in the Rig Veda. This is spirituality in management. First, a lifetime job to any family person or a family that is a family member of the deceased. Second, lifetime education free to the children of those who have been killed in the Taj attack. Third, lifetime free medical for all the family members of the person who has been killed in the Taj. Fourth, all the free treatment to whoever has been injured, those on the footpaths, those on the other side of the road, even a small bullet hurt on the leg. A 3-year-old girl, she got a bullet on her right leg. She got free treatment here in Mumbai, but then the doctor said that there is a very difficult surgery that we need to perform, but it could be performed well in Italy, Europe. Ratan Tata, without a second's hesitation, he said, Tata Sons will bear all the charges. Send the girl to Europe. And the total cost of the surgery was 8 lakh rupees. Ratan Tata dished out. What a welfare. He said that all the children, boys and girls, when they get married, of the people who have been killed in the Taj, all their marriage expenses will be borne by the company, and we will give them 50 rooms in plush hotels in South Mumbai for their marriage. The list is endless. I know only 5-6 things. The Rig Veda teaches this. Welfare of your employees. Today, because we have to do it, there is a cess. Today, forcibly sometimes we have to do it, so there is a CSR. I'm not blaming anybody. Many of them do wholeheartedly and with a big heart. But welfare, as explained in the Rig Veda, is much beyond CSR, much beyond this cess. So this is spirituality in management. And this is how it works. Why did the new finance minister of the country, Mrs.– imposed more tax on the super rich in this budget? And what was the reason given by the finance ministry for this? Very clearly the finance ministry said that we want to lessen the burden on the middle class. So more tax on the super rich. Lessen the burden is the synonym of the word welfare. Lessen the burden is the synonym of the word welfare. So welfare of the people, because all the super rich, definitely with all the destiny, with all the hard work, with all the intelligence, but one fact you can't deny is that they have drawn themselves to super rich status on the backs of middle class. That has to be accepted. So they have to definitely loosen their purse a bit more for the welfare of the middle class. And when we know there is a huge middle class in the country, for their welfare, this has to be done. And of course, the super rich are not drinking liquid gold as curry in the evening. Not even on the 27th floor of Antilia. Nobody is drinking liquid gold as curry. So you have to loosen your purse a bit for the welfare of the middle class. As simple as that. So this is again spirituality, better welfare, beyond paid. So don't take your employees. The Rugved says that you just when have a pay-and-spell relationship, it is that you have taken them as employees. But when you think of their welfare, you have taken your employees as your family members. You have to take your office as your second family. Only if you take your office as your second family, you think of their welfare. So this is from the administration point of view, dharma. The second part of spirituality into management is your profound devotion and your belief in the all-doership of God. This is now more than ever being taught to top-class executives. Because during success, these executives drink and dance. And during failures, they sink. This is happening. So attachment, devotion towards God. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it is said, what is devotion? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. These are 9 types of devotion towards God. One type of devotion toward God says, for example, prayers. You pray to God. Scientifically proved how prayers helps you in management. Listen these words well. How prayers helps you in day-to-day management. Harvard University survey says, with their scientific experimentation, that when you pray, the stress hormones, first cortisol, second epinephrine, their levels reduce in your blood. Scientifically proved. The 2 stress hormones, more in the blood, more stress in your life, are cortisol and epinephrine. They have scientifically proved that when you pray to God, the levels of these 2 are reduced in your blood. And a hormone is secreted in your blood that is called endorphin. The endorphin secretion in your blood gives you a feeling of happiness, gives you a feeling of stress-freeness. Scientifically proved, so I am giving you the names of all these hormones. So now how prayer is directly related to management? That the more stress-free you are, the sound decisions you will take. Yes or no? The more stress-free you are, the better manager you will be. The more stress-free that you are, you will be able to understand the people at your workplace better. And so better management. As simple as that. So prayers are needed. I have seen more than like 50 companies or factories at different places, establishments in Gujarat and outside, where they start with their day, that the management, that is the owners, the management and the employees, all of them, they come together before the start of the working day and they pray together. Mass prayers that includes 1,000 people, 1,500 people. At this place in Savji Bhai Dholakkar's place, 3,000 people they work. under one roof, and they start their working day with prayers. The people have understood, and they do it, and they are reaping the advantages of it. They've experienced that this aspect of spirituality, that is prayers, it helps them to this extent. Imagine Gandhi had a good work, a big work. Mahatma Gandhi had a huge work in front of him to liberate the country from the clutches of the Britishers. He was the first person to tell the world and let the world know that what mass movement can produce. From him, the world learned administration about mass movements. Martin Luther King learned in United States. Nelson Mandela learned from him in South Africa. The first person to walk this earth who could really put in ground administration, you call it ground management when it comes to mass movements. The Quit India movement, the civil disobedience movement, the non-cooperation movement. He used to say that without prayers, I would have gone mad long before. See how prayers make you a better manager. How connection with God makes you a better manager. Stephen Covey, in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, surveyed 3,000 successful people, not just in business, successful in all walks of life. As a husband, as a wife, as a brother, as a sister, as a neighbor, as a relative, as a friend. Successful in all walks of life. He surveyed them well, interviewed them, and came out with the conclusion that these 7 habits I found in them very common. And the 7th habit that he writes is sharpen the saw, in which he writes that these 3,000 people I met, they definitely had a habit of connecting with their Creator through prayers every day. This is spirituality into management. Such successful people, they prayed every day. We know what prayers is. But shall I tell you a fact? We only know asking prayers and mercy prayers. Let me analyze and let us open up. We only know begging prayers. Asking was the better word I used just because to see your responses. Now when you have responded well after understanding that, I hope so. Let me use the exact word which I actually wanted to use. Begging prayers. And second is mercy prayers. भगवान इतना दे दो और ये अगर गलती हो गई तो भगवान माफ कर देना. Begging prayers and mercy prayers. Shift your paradigm to thank you prayers and doership prayers and see the miracle. This is spirituality into practice. Even a small help from somewhere, thank God. Top management gurus teach this to these executives. That even then, if your aide reports to you on time, definitely say a thank you to him and a second thank you to God. That he inspired him to come at the right time and he reported on time. When you get out of your home at 9 or 9:30 in the morning, if the driver is on his seat in the car, you would be surprised, oh, wow, kya baat hai? And second, wow, kya baat hai? Upar bhi ek bolo na. These are called thank you prayers. They are taught this. Top management is taught this, thank you prayers. And the second type of prayers that I described to you is also rather more important, is doership prayers. A failure, a setback, a thing not well done, a project not well executed, or you did not get the results that you wanted. Doership prayers. God, I don't know, I tried my best, I put in all my resources, but I did not get the results I wanted. So definitely, you are not cruel on me, but I don't understand, but at least I can feel, or at least I would say, if not feel, that whatever you are doing is right for me. I don't know whether to what extent this is right or when I will understand actually what right it is. But I definitely understand that there is something good behind you not giving me success in this project. That is called doership prayers. And there is always a divine providence for anything happening in your life. Let me practically and legally explain in one line. Do as parents ever you wish anything ill of your children? No. Yes or no? Then we are God's children, very clearly stated in the scriptures. Vayam amrutasya putraha. We are the children of God. If as parents, if you don't think ill of your children, never in your wildest dreams, why would God, as our parents, would think ill of us? That belief is doership prayers. That is now being taught. So when you are successful, don't just dance and drink. You can celebrate the way you want. I am not against it. But at least say one thank you there. At least say one thank you of them. And when you have such wonderful manners and etiquettes to say thank you to a smallest person who helps you, then why not to the biggest person who is helping you from the top? So this is being taught. This is spirituality into management. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was felicitated in the Canadian Parliament. 560 members of parliaments of Canada stood up, rose on their seats when it was announced that we would all stand up to felicitate Pramukh Swami Maharaj. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was still seated on his seat. And he was said, Swami, in traditional Gujarati by his attendant said, Tamara namni jahirat thi, tame ubha thao. Pramukh Swami said, I understood. Mane khabar padi. Then he asked this other attendant saint who was in service of Hare Krishna Maharaj, in devotion of Hare Krishna Maharaj. Swami said to him, Swami ke tu ubho tha. He said, Swami, your name has been announced and see, 560 MPs, they already rose. You stand up. And they were looking in the gallery. Where is Pramukh Swami and where is the VVIP guest today that we are felicitating? Pramukh Swami simply said, Tu ubho tha, તારા હાથમાં ભગવાનની મૂર્તિ છે, એના લીધે આપણું સન્માન છે, એના લીધે આપણને લોકો બોલાવે છે, બાકી આપણને કોણ પૂછે? Now this Canadian Parliament, they didn't know what is Thakurji, what is Hare Krishna Maharaj, what is Murti of God. But Pramukh Swami, to the core of his heart and to the smallest droplet of his blood, believed that it is because of God that people are calling us, people are greeting us, people are felicitating us, respecting us. And because of Pramukh Swami's insistence, the attendant saint who was in devotion of Hare Krishna Maharaj, he had to rise up. And then Pramukh Swami stood up to accept the felicitation. Jara to sochiye, 500 plus MPs rising in front of you to felicitate you at that time to remember a thank you prayer is beyond the ken of human intelligence. But Pramukh Swami could do this. Why? For the smallest act good happening in his life, he always thanked God. So to the biggest, also he could remember God. And we wanted to build a huge temple in London, in Harrow. I'll just finish in the last 5 minutes. We wanted to build a huge temple in Harrow. The neighborhood, they went to the court and told the court that these people, if they build a huge temple here, they would be chanting the holy name and ringing the bells and all types of celebrations till 12 midnight. अरे भाई इतना टाइम तो हमारे पास भी नहीं है. टाइम अगर हो तो भी श्रद्धा भी इतनी नहीं है. And in the legal process in the Western countries, there is a procedure that you have to go for a signature campaign in your affected neighborhood. So they also went, we also went, but they were the locals, we were the immigrants, we were outsiders, so they got more signatures, and the court ruling that it went against us, full and final judgment that Pramukh Swami and BAPS Sanstha cannot build a mandir here. When Pramukh Swami Maharaj was given the news on telephone from London by our trustees that Swami, we have lost the case. One of our elder saints, Puja Vivek Sagar Swami, was right in front of him. He could see Pramukh Swami's facial expressions and body language at this time, at this very moment when he got the news. Pramukh Swami, without any change of wrinkle on his face, first words, Jevi Bhagwan ne ichha. What a way to stabilize yourself in the worst setback of your life. This is because of spirituality. Here is where spiritual management comes into play. Your spirituality comes into play in management. First words, Jevi Bhagwan ni ichha. Second words, આપણે આપણો પુરુષાર્થ બધો કર્યો હતો, હવે જે પરિણામ ભગવાન આપે એ આપણને માન્ય છે. What an understanding. This is spiritual management, that we put all our resources into the success, to bring success, but now whatever results we accept it. And the third thing, see the determination. આપણે નક્કી કર્યું છે એટલે મંદિર કરવું જ છે, બીજી જગ્યા શોધવા માંડો, કરશું. And he did it. In 1995 when we inaugurated, Reader's Digest wrote that this is the 8th wonder of the world in Lisdom, in London. And it is in the Guinness Book of World Records as well. He did a masterpiece, what was in his mind. This is spirituality into play. This is called spiritual management. So, I had some more few points to tell, but now we are not on time to finish the talk. So spirituality plays a big role in management. A spiritual manager does not balloon up more during successes and does not shrink at all during failures. Rest all managers do. कहीं बातें हमारे सत शास्त्रों में है. Many stories and talks that teach you management from different aspects. There is a thing called plan B, isn't it? If at all plan A fails, there is a plan B. We did not have it at Manchester. What if the top order of the Indian team collapses? There was no plan B or the middle order. The one principal reason that is cited by cricket analysts of our failure in the semi-finals. The team, New Zealand, was not that strong, not even 70% of us, in all types of capabilities. Chasing was not a big total, 239, 240 was not. Half of it could have been done by Rohit, as usually he used to do. It could have been done. But they say that never ever we had thought that if the top order collapses, Rohit, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, if all three collapse, how would the middle order sustain? Because in the last 4 years, we have experimented, the Indian cricket team, 24 players in the number 4 to number 7 position. So we have not got a strong binding a couple of players in that section. So when you don't have a plan B and your plan A fails, you are exposed absolutely into wilderness. That is what happened. Actually, Rishabh Pant was never in the World Cup team. He was called. And then difficult for anybody to expect. So plan B is a big thing in management. You know who taught us plan B? Not just us, to the world. Bhagwan Ram. You know where? When he wanted to fight Ravana to bring his wife back, Sitaji back, he asked the human army that you join me to fight Ravana. They said, no, Ravana is a very huge strength and the Rakshasas, we can fight them. And they blatantly said no to Bhagwan Ram on face. And Bhagwan Ram said, okay, plan B, let me train the monkeys. He trained the monkeys and he fought with the monkeys and won the war. Huge plan B. Huge, unbeliever plan B. And all the modern management teaches you that if you want to grow today in the times of competition, severe cutthroat competition, if you want to grow, you should have the inertia of a calculated, innovative risk. You have to take the risk to grow. To grow, you need to take a risk. A calculated risk is fine. Innovative risk is fine. Again, that was taught by Ram. He built the first bridge from India to Lanka. And don't say it's a myth. Photographs have been clicked by satellites. Even today that bridge exists. It is under the sea. But the levels of water and the measures of land, they keep on changing all over the world. It's a constant change. Jal, Sthal keeps on changing. So today it's under the world, but well photographed. So even today, huge vessels, they don't pass through that creek because they would collide with this bridge. They have to take a big turn in the south from Lanka. So it's a proof that it exists. Imagine the innovative and calculated risk of Bhagwan Rama going to Lanka, a bridge, and built by engineers, architects, built by monkeys. Big, innovative and calculated risk. So there are many such aspects that you learn from spiritual scriptures, from spiritual personalities that helps you to become a better manager, and you become a better manager by spirituality. When the word management teaches us management, T, the last letter removed, is manage, man. Again the last letter remaining, L removed, manage, me. And that is spirituality. Thank you very much.